children at my studio that deal with bullying, and now throw in social media where in the old days when we were younger, you could go home and it's done, but it continues sometimes on, on social media.
And then social media. I mean, there's so much shaming and bullying on social media sites and social media. There's good parts of it, obviously, people communicating and all that. But there's a lot of negative, there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of toxicity that goes on, and with young people too, they spend too much time on there, and it just a lot of wasted time. They should be out
Mm-hmm.
at a national level too. There's with politicians and this and that. I mean, there's just bullying is just so common.
The bullying word is kind of thrown around at some point. It was a little bit too much. I'm like, people are going to have disagreements. However, when it becomes overbearing and constant, yes, it's bullying. And I don't know if you know who Patrick Bet David is. I was listening to his podcast and he was talking about how I guess his kids don't have cell phones. They're the only ones that don't. And he's very strict about how much social interaction they have online. And I think that that's where it starts. I actually think that kids shouldn't have cell phones. If they need to get in touch with them, they give them a pager.
I agree. I agree. Give that and then this is a conversation at schools too, where they that a lot of parents say take this big phone away when they're in class, but otherwise they're going to be sitting with the teacher on their phone, laying on the phone when they're supposed to be listening to the teacher. There's a lot of that, and then the parents' argument is like, well, what if they need something? They need to be able to call me. It's like, okay, well, they can go to the office and
Right.
just there's other ways of doing it, and so than that, and so. Yeah, I agree. That's just good parenting. I think it's just if you just let them. Same thing like with video games. Mostly that's a guy thing, but with video games, just limiting it. Okay, you can do it for a half hour, or you do it for an hour. Then you gotta get your homework done, and then, or if you get your homework done, then I'll give you an hour. But that's it. Just and on the weekend or whatever, just a small amount, and then don't So many kids are sitting there all day, every day, 8 hours and hours and hours doing video games. It's not healthy. It's
Well,
not
it's not
healthy.
healthy. And I was talking to somebody yesterday that kind of had a rough childhood. And here's my biggest takeaway on what I've seen as somebody who is in the child industry. Like I have a performing arts center. I'm an after school program. I have seen kids do so much better because they are part of something very bigger than themselves. After school programs should be funded by the state. I 1000% believe. And it's my understanding nowadays that it's not really funded very well. And you have to have a lot of money to be in a football team. And when I was younger, growing up in foster care, I lived for my after school programs. That's where I had connection. And I really believe that if you give kids connection, not on the internet, outside, playing football, playing chess, doing it as bird watching, whatever it is, they're a part of something bigger than themselves. They are a part of a community. They're part of a team. And maybe we would see less shootings and bullying and stuff like that because you're not left to your own defenses. We're all going to, listen, if we're on the internet, we're going to go to the things when we're younger that are, maybe spooky or weird or, horror shows. And if you're out and about, you don't get that option. It's just not there. So obviously there's a fine line, which you probably know, between overdoing it with your kids with activities every day, all day, every second of the day, than having something at least twice a week to go to be a part of.
Yeah, and that's what I did. Growing up, I played football since I was young, and back then, we used to go out and play. And now people will say, yeah, but it's not as safe nowadays. For good points. You don't want your kids outdoors in unsafe areas unsupervised. But I think it's just when I grew up, it was just just a healthier environment back then, back in the 70s and in the 80s during college and stuff.
The internet is a great thing in moderation, like anything.